Have you ever been in the middle of a pitch, whether to an investor, a client, or even just a colleague, and you can feel it slipping away? You've prepared, you've got the facts. You believe in your idea. But instead of leaning forward, the other person is leaning back. Arms crossed, face neutral. You can almost see their inner voice saying, "Not buying it." And here's the frustrating part. It's not because you're wrong. It's not because your idea is weak. It's because persuasion, the way most of us were taught, is broken. The truth is, people don't want to be convinced. They don't want to be pressured or pushed. What they want is the opposite, to feel that the decision was theirs all along. And that, my friend, is the heart of Flip the Script. This book is about a smarter, more elegant way of getting people to say yes. Not because you twisted their arm, but because they convinced themselves. Before we dive into the insights, I want to welcome you to SR Books Insights, where we take the most powerful business and success books in the world and transform them into practical lessons you can use right away. If this is your first time here, be sure to subscribe now so you won't miss the next part of this audiobook series. Before we go into the strategies, let's talk about the man behind them. Oren Klaff isn't a theorist writing from a classroom. He's a dealmaker who's lived and breathed high-stakes persuasion for decades. He's personally raised over $2 billion in capital. Think about that for a second. That's not just writing a business plan or doing a sales call. That's walking into rooms filled with the toughest, sharpest, most skeptical investors in the world. People who hear 100 pitches a week, and still walking out with the deal signed. He's been in the trenches, in boardrooms where one wrong move kills the opportunity. And through those battles, he learned what really works when it comes to persuasion. His first book, Pitch Anything, was a game changer. It introduced us to the concept of frames, the invisible structures that control conversations, and how to seize control of them. But Flip the Script is about something deeper. It's about not having to win the frame fight at all. It's about structuring your pitch so that the other person thinks the conclusion is theirs. That's not just smart psychology. That's influence at the highest level. Let's start with the obvious. Why do most pitches fail? It's not usually because the facts are bad. It's because of the way we present them. When we push, people resist. When we try too hard to convince, people start thinking about how to protect themselves. Imagine you're shopping for a car. You walk into the dealership, and before you even touch the steering wheel, the salesperson is telling you why this car is perfect for you. What do? You pull back. You doubt them. You look for flaws. That's human nature. We're wired to reject persuasion that feels forced. But here's the twist. When we feel like we've reached the decision ourselves, we embrace it with confidence. And that's the secret Oren Klaff cracked. Every deal starts inside the buyer's frame. They have the money. They have the power to say yes or no. That means they walk into the conversation with control. If you pitch inside their frame, you're already losing. Story example. In one of Oren's early meetings with a group of investors, he noticed how they positioned themselves. They sat at the head of the table, flipping through his documents, asking rapid-fire questions like interrogators. They expected him to dance for their approval. Instead of bowing to their authority, Oren calmly leaned back and said, "I'm not sure this is the right fit for you. We've had several groups approach us, and honestly, I wasn't sure if I should even bring this deal to you, but I thought I'd give you a look." The energy in the room changed instantly. The investors stopped interrogating and started leaning forward. Suddenly, they were chasing him. Why? Because Oren flipped the frame. He made it clear he wasn't there to beg for their money. He had something scarce, an opportunity, and he was giving them the chance to qualify. Scarcity is magnetic. When people believe something is rare, they want it more. And status, the subtle cues of who is leading and who is following, drives the interaction. When you position yourself as the one with something valuable, something not everyone can access, you shift the dynamic. The buyer stops judging and starts qualifying themselves. Action tip. The next time you present your idea, don't say, "I really hope you'll consider this." Instead, say, "I'm not sure if this is right for you, but here's why others have been interested." Notice the difference? One is needy, the other is scarce and high status. If you're enjoying these insights from Flip the Script, take a moment right now to subscribe to SR Books Insights. Each week, we bring you lessons from the world's top business and personal growth authors, designed to help you grow your influence, wealth, and mindset. Don't miss the next parts of this series. Hit subscribe and let's continue. Humans are status sensitive. Every time we meet someone, our subconscious is asking, are they above me, below me, or on the same level? If you pitch from below, you look needy. If you pitch from way above, you look arrogant. The key is status alignment, positioning yourself as a peer. Example. At a networking event, Oren was introduced to a billionaire investor. Instead of listing his achievements or trying to impress, he casually shared an insight about a new market trend. The investor hadn't considered it, and suddenly, Oren wasn't a random guy pitching for money. He was a peer with valuable knowledge. Takeaway: don't try to climb up the ladder in someone's eyes. Stand beside them. Show you belong at the same table. Now we come to the heart of Oren's strategy, the inception method. The goal isn't to tell people what to think. It's to lay down undeniable truths, stepping stones, so they connect the dots themselves. When they arrive at the conclusion, it feels like their own idea. And here's the kicker. People rarely argue with themselves. Example. Instead of saying, "You should invest in this because it saves money," you say, "Energy costs have risen 15% every year. Most systems waste 30% of power. Companies that upgrade cut costs by half." Then pause. The buyer will connect the dots and say, "So if we use your system, we'll save money." Exactly. And because they said it, they believe it. Why the old way doesn't work anymore. For decades, persuasion advice has sounded the same. Be more passionate. Show more data. Overcome objections. Close harder. But here's the problem. The world has changed. Buyers today are smarter, busier, and more skeptical than ever. They've seen every sales tactic. They can Google your claims in 5 seconds. And they hate feeling sold to. Oren points out that what used to work, long PowerPoint decks, feature-loaded pitches, slick scripts, now backfires. People tune out. Their defense walls shoot up. Story example. He tells of a founder who walked into a pitch meeting with a 60-slide deck, convinced that every detail mattered. 15 minutes in, the investors were checking their phones. By slide 30, they were done. The founder walked out empty-handed, not because the product was bad, but because he was stuck in the old Persuasion playbook. Flip the Script is about throwing that old playbook away and replacing it with a new one where the buyer does the convincing. There's a psychological truth Oren leans on. People believe what they tell themselves more than what they're told by others. Think about diets. You can tell your friend, "You should cut sugar." They'll nod politely, but keep drinking soda. But if one day they say, "I think sugar is killing my energy. I need to stop," everything changes. It wasn't your persuasion that worked. It was their self-persuasion. Oren's genius is building a pitch that naturally triggers this moment in the buyer's mind. Instead of dumping facts, Oren teaches us to deliver undeniable truths, statements so self-evident the other person can't deny them. Once you plant 2 or 3 of these, the buyer can't help but connect the dots to your conclusion. Example. Truth 1. Every year, cyber attacks increase by over 30%. Truth 2. Small businesses are the most common target. Truth 3. Most small businesses can't survive a breach financially. Now pause. The buyer will say, "So we need stronger cybersecurity." That's inception. You never said it. They said it, and because it's theirs, they own it. Another powerful tool Oren uses is storytelling. Numbers may impress, logic may inform, but stories persuade. When you tell a story of a customer who solved a problem or of a moment when your system saved the day, it does more than data ever could. It creates emotional certainty. Real-life example. Instead of saying, "Our software reduces downtime by 40%, Oren might tell a story. One of our clients had a system crash in the middle of Black Friday. Normally, they'd lose millions, but with our software, the backup kicked in within 30 seconds. They finished the day with record sales. Which one sticks in your memory? The number or the story? Exactly. If you're finding these insights powerful, take a quick moment to subscribe to SR Books Insights. Every week, we turn the world's top success books into practical lessons like these, so you don't just read them, you live them. Hit subscribe, and let's keep flipping the script together. In business, people don't just buy ideas, they buy certainty. If you can create certainty in the buyer's mind, certainty that the market is real, certainty that the problem is urgent, certainty that your solution works, the deal becomes inevitable. Oren says it like this: certainty is the currency of persuasion. Example. Imagine a startup founder says, "We think our technology will work in large hospitals." That word "think" kills certainty. Now imagine they say, "This technology has already been adopted in 3 major hospitals. Here's the data. Here's the outcome." One word, certainty, flips the decision. Action. Step audit your pitch. Replace uncertainty words, "we hope," "we think," "we plan," with certainty words, "we know," "we've proven," "we have." Language reveals status instantly. High-status communicators don't flood the air with words. They pause. They understate. They drop facts simply, letting silence do the work. Low-status pitch. We're so excited to be here today. Thank you so much for your time. We've been dreaming of showing you this opportunity, and we really hope you'll see how amazing this is. High-status pitch. We appreciate your time. We're not sure if this is right for you, but here's why others are interested. Same idea, completely different impact. Let's look at another story Oren shares. He once pitched a group of investors who started drilling him with questions before he could even present. Instead of frantically answering, he smiled and said, "Hold on. I promise I'll get to all of that. But let's start at the beginning so this makes sense." That one sentence flipped control. He reestablished his frame. "We'll do this in my order, not yours." The investors leaned back. They followed his lead. Takeaway: frame control doesn't mean dominating, it means guiding. Let's role-play this. Imagine you're pitching your business. Old way. Please let me explain why you should consider us. We've prepared a detailed presentation to cover every question you might have. Flip the script way. I'm not sure if this is the right fit, but here's what others in your space are excited about. Let me walk you through the essentials, and then you can decide if it makes sense to continue. Notice the difference? One is begging, the other is leading. Why persuasion is broken in today's world. How to flip the buyer's frame. The power of scarcity and status. The inception method of planting truths. How certainty and storytelling drive decisions. This is just the beginning. In Part 2, we'll go deeper into tactical empathy, how to create ironclad certainty, and the subtle cues that make people trust you without question. So don't stop here. Continue with Part 2 of this audiobook insight on Flip the Script by Oren Klaff, narrated by SR Books. Insights. This is more than mindset. It's a mission. Keep seeking, keep growing, keep giving. And together, let's make the world rich again.